Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Poet on the call as we bring you another edition of Milford Scarlet Hawks baseball here this afternoon. The Scarlet Hawks taking on another Davenport division rival. Actually, check that. It is a rival from the Kelly Rex division of the Hockomock League, formerly of the Davenport. It is the Oliver Ames Tigers. It is another good rivalry. This has been an excellent week of matchups for Milford here at home this week. They are fresh off of a statement victory against the first place team in the Davenport division just a couple of days ago, and a game we were able to cover for you here on Milford TV. The Hawks able to defeat the Stoughton Black Knights by a final score of 3-2. It was a nail-biter all the way, a very well-pitched game on both sides, but Danny Corsini able to get the early innings under his belt successfully. 5 innings pitched in the game. Held that Stoughton offense to just a couple of runs, and then a very nice job in relief by Mario Lee. He shut the door, pitching 2 scoreless innings in relief to keep Milford within reach. They were able to grab a run to go ahead for good in the bottom half of the 6th inning, and again, a hard-fought, close ball game that Milford was able to win by a final score of 3-2. It snapped a 4-game losing streak, and so now the Hawks look to build a winning streak here as they continue to play at home against another tough opponent in Oliver Ames. Oliver Ames, again, out of the Kelly Rex division, and don't let their place in those Kelly Rex standings fool you. Oliver Ames right now in 6th place in the Kelly Rex standings, but a 4-5 record overall on the season, so just 1 game below where Milford is at this point in the year. Their offense has been a little bit lower than what you've come to expect out of this Oliver Ames team at times, but their pitching has been pretty solid. And this is a team that's really holding its own in a very tough division. Again, playing against the likes of Franklin and Mansfield that have been very dangerous teams this year. Attleboro, a very good team as well. So not a lot of easy games on the schedule for Oliver Ames over on the Kelly Rex side. So this should be a very good battle against 2 fairly evenly matched teams this afternoon. So looking forward to getting this game underway. And again, for Milford, doing a lot of things well in that game on Monday here at Pheno Field. Some timely hits when they needed them, including a good performance at the bottom of the lineup for Justin Appleby out of the number 9 spot, who was able to come through with Milford's biggest hit of the game. It was an RBI triple that tied the game at that earlier point in the ball game. Milford getting solid contributions also out of Tyler Almeida, who had a couple of hits to break out of a little mini funk offensively on the season. And Danny Corsini, on top of those 5 quality innings pitched, also contributed offensively as well. So it was a really good team effort. Some of the captains leading the way in that effort. And the Hawks will look for another solid performance here today. And as we get closer now to the first pitch in this game, we'll go ahead and roll right into the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. And we will start with the visiting starting lineup, and that is the Oliver Ames Tigers under the direction of their head coach, Joe Abar. And so that lineup looks like this. Chris Pearson's one of the top players in the Hockomock League, paces this Oliver Ames lineup. Leads off and plays shortstop with Nick Marks, the 3rd baseman, batting 2nd. It is the right fielder Reed Latham batting 3rd, with Jake Ulrich catching and batting cleanup. Jacob Levine is the Oliver Ames designated hitter, batting 5th, with C.J. DeVoe, the left fielder, batting 6th. Jared Spillane is the 2nd baseman, batting 7th, with Sean O'Brien, the center fielder, batting 8th. And in the 9th spot, playing first base, is Cooper Haggerty. And for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, their starting lineup looks like this. Nick Marcolini leads it off in center field, with Matt Shaver, the shortstop, batting 2nd. Batting 3rd is today's starting pitcher for Milford, Colby Perez, with Danny Corsini in at 3rd base, batting cleanup. Tyler Almeida is your number 5 hitter and catcher, with Carter Scudo, the left fielder, batting 6th. Nicholas Ouimet plays first base and bats 7th, with Luke Rosa, the right fielder, batting 8th. And in the 9th spot, once again playing second base, is Justin Appleby. And again, your pitching matchup in this game, you can see right now getting loose on the mound to begin this top half of the 1st inning is Colby Perez for Milford. He will be opposed on the Oliver Ames side by Nicholas Boudreau, not in the OA starting lineup. Oliver Ames opting for a DH in their lineup, so the pitcher solely operating on the mound, at least to start this game here this afternoon. And for Colby Perez, a good start to the season on the pitcher's mound, now getting more and more experience out of the Scarlet Hawks rotation. And taking a look at some of the numbers for Colby Perez so far on the season, this will be his 5th appearance on the mound. All of those have come out of the starting rotation. He comes in with a 1-2 record so far on the season. In 14 innings pitched, Colby has allowed 13 runs, but only 8 of them earned. He's walked 8, struck out 9. He has an ERA of an even 4 coming into the matchup. And so good numbers overall, and looking to build upon, again, that solid starting pitching performance by Danny Corsini from just a couple of days ago. Once again, this game will be played under overcast skies. It seems like the sun has been in very short supply over these last several weeks. It was very similar conditions for the game on Monday here at Pheno Field, but again, we don't expect any precipitation, and that is really just about all you can hope for right now until we break out of this weather pattern. So a very light breeze right now, just barely drifting in from the outfield towards home plate, so not a great hitter's wind, at least to start this game. And with that, it is time to get right into baseball for this afternoon as the leadoff hitter for Oliver Ames, Chris Pearsons, is about to stand in on the right side, facing the right-handed tossing Colby Perez. Perez, good velocity. And we saw that quite a bit on the gridiron with that strong throwing arm from the quarterback position, and he sends a fastball in but misses low and away as this ball game begins here at Pheno Field. Happy to be bringing you this coverage once again here on Milford TV. And Perez ready now with a 1-0 pitch, and this is sent on the ground towards shortstop. Ranging over is Matt Shaver. A low throw to first base, but nicely picked on the back end by Nicholas Ouimet to collect the first out of this ball game. Shaver had to throw on the move, spiked that throw in towards first base, but Ouimet doing a nice job of swiping that ball and getting it on the short hop. And so Pearson's out on the 6-3 ground out. And that will now bring up the third baseman for Oliver Ames, Nick Marks. Oliver Ames in their road grays with orange trim. Milford once again in those pinstriped home uniforms as Perez opens the at-bat with a called strike one. Defensively for the Scarlet Hawks, it is Tyler Almeida behind the plate, Danny Corsini at third, Matt Shaver at short, Justin Appleby at second, and Nicholas Ouimet at first. Left to right in the outfield, Carter Scudo, Nick Marcolini, and Luke Rosa. As Perez delivers a pitch in the dirt that kicks away to even the count at 1-1. A lot of local fans, despite the cooler temperatures here on this 1st of May, taking an opportunity to enjoy some time outside without the raindrops as Matt Shaver will be tested yet again. Another tricky hop, the throw high, and now we see the nice grab made once again by Nicholas Ouimet. He was able to stretch to reel in that high throw, maintained the foot on the bag, and so very good fundamentals over at first base displayed in this first inning by Ouimet. Helps to have that big frame at his disposal. So back-to-back ground outs to shortstop opens the game for the Tigers. 2 outs and the base is empty now for Reed Latham. And he takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. And now Perez ready with an 0-1, and it's sliced down the right field line foul and takes a bounce right into the Pheno Field concession stand area. 0-2 the count. Perez 1 strike away from finishing off a 1-2-3 first inning. Steps back on the pitching rubber as Reed Latham digs back in on the right side. And now the 0-2 pitch is popped up, playable on the infield, now drifting into foul ground. Once again, it's Ouimet front and center. He makes the catch for the out that retires the side. A good start for Colby Perez as he retires the side in order. The Scarlet Hawks bats will take their first swings of the game when we come back next. Scoreless between Oliver Ames and Milford here on Milford TV. The Scarlet Hawks will bring Nick Marcolini, Matt Shaver, and Colby Perez to the plate in the bottom of the first inning against the Oliver Ames starting pitcher, the right-hander Nicholas Boudreau. And immediately the chatter will start to ramp up from the third base dugout. There's been a lot of good energy about this team in the games that we have covered so far on the season. A lively dugout, a lot of support for the players out there on the field, and it has seemed like that has had an impact. It's something that I've observed quite a bit in the past for some of the good Milford Legion teams in recent seasons. A team that brings that energy in the dugout, it tends to translate out onto the field. And we'll see if that takes place again here this afternoon. Nick Marcolini taking the first pitch well outside against Boudreau. And now the 1-0 pitch. Marcolini goes after it and fouls it away. Defensively for the Tigers, it is Jake Ehrlich behind the plate. Nick Marks at third, Chris Pearsons at short, Jared Spillane at second, and Cooper Haggerty at first. Left to right in the outfield, C.J. DeVoe, Sean O'Brien, and Reed Latham. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike pitch is hit hard back up the middle. Ricochets off of Boudreau, travels towards the third base side, and the throw to first base still gets there in time. So despite good speed down the line from Marcolini, and Boudreau taking that ball, looked like off of one of his shins, he was able to recover, collect the ball, and fire to first base to get the out. Nice concentration for Nicholas Boudreau. So the leadoff man retired for the Scarlet Hawks, as now Shaver will take his first at bat of the afternoon and takes a called strike. Shaver with the batting average now just under the 300 mark at 294. Still leading the team in runs batted in with 7. A couple of players hot on his heels with 6. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is taken just a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Colby Perez waiting in the on-deck circle with the bases empty and 1 down. And the next pitch, low for ball 3. Temperature was right around the 60-degree mark when we started setting up for this game this afternoon, but that breeze drifting in from center field starting to make it feel a little cooler than that. As the 3-1 pitch is taken low for ball 4, and Shaver will work the 1-out walk. And so Perez now will step to the plate with a runner aboard. Shaver has 4 stolen bases on the season, so we may see him try it here. We'll see if Jake Ehrlich displays the same kind of throwing arm from behind the plate that we saw out of the catcher for Stoughton on Monday, Michael Nazaro, who cut down a couple of base stealers. And a check over in the direction of Matt Shaver. And now we will see a quick conference on the mound between Boudreau and his battery mate, Jake Ehrlich. Just a very quick exchange between the two, as now Ehrlich retakes his position behind the plate. Nick Marks in a bit towards the grass at third base. They play a double play depth up the middle. And now a fastball yanked outside by Boudreau. Evens the count at 1-1. I'd like to welcome in all of our viewers who are tuned into us via live stream today. Happy to be once again bringing live streaming coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. Matt Shaver taking off for second base. The pitch low. The throw down to second base is good, and Shaver is out. The throw did one-hop the bag. Shaver hopping up and down after the call. He felt like he might have gotten the foot in there, but the infield umpire was in good position to see the play, and so Shaver out on the caught stealing, and the 3rd time that Milford has been caught stealing in the last 2 games. As now this ball is sent on the ground slowly to short, grabbed by Pearsons. He fires to first to get the out of Perez that ends the inning. So just like that, a potential rally disintegrates for the Scarlet Hawks. No runs for either side in the first inning, so we play on to inning number 2 scoreless between Milford and Oliver Ames right here on Milford TV. Both pitchers end up just facing the minimum in the first inning. Milford getting a 1-out base runner, but Jake Ehrlich cutting down Matt Shaver, trying to steal second base, quickly brought an end to any potential rally for the Scarlet Hawks. So Perez back out there for his 2nd inning of work, and he fires in a called strike into Jake Ehrlich. So after that nice throw defensively up there to open the top of the 2nd inning, one of the best bats in this Oliver Ames lineup. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's high. Ehrlich came into this week batting .450. 9 hits and 20 at-bats. Here's a 1-1, and that misses outside. We mentioned it, the Oliver Ames offense a little bit less productive than what they have been in recent seasons. And right now, Ehrlich in the driver's seat in this at-bat, up 3-1. OA scoring a total of 21 runs through their first 9 games of the season. Last year, making it all the way to the D2 South final, as this ball is popped up over towards second base, where Justin Appleby is able to make the play. And Ehrlich is retired. Looking at the final standings from last year, Oliver Ames winning 16 games through the regular season last year, and through those 16 games, they scored a total of 131 runs. Milford for the season last year only scored 66 runs. So potent offense last year for Oliver Ames, losing several key players to graduation and looking to fill those holes as this 2018-19 season goes along. After the foul ball, the 0-1 pitch is hit hard to third base. That exploded on Danny Corsini. He couldn't hold on to it. Ricochets out into left field, and Jacob Levine, the designated hitter, will reach. It was a real hard shot to third base, the second straight pitch that Levine drove hard down the third base line. The first one kicked foul, this one stayed fair, and Corsini couldn't make the play. A real tough one for Corsini to handle. We'll rule that a base hit. As always, the ultimate scorekeeping takes place down in the dugout. So a one-out hit, the first base runner of the game for the Tigers. And now a called strike at the knees. Starts off the at-bat for the left fielder, C.J. DeVoe. Perez now operating from the stretch. And the pitch just misses outside. A nice job by Almeida to frame it, but did not buy the strike call from the home plate ump. Just a short lead at first base for Levine. And now the 1-1 pitch misses away. Perez leaning in for the sign, now fires in, and that misses low, and another 3-ball count. Second time in this inning, Perez has fallen behind 3-1. Levine again a couple of steps away from the first base bag, and now the pitch misses well outside. And Perez, operating out of the stretch for the first time in the game, couldn't quite find his release point, allows the one-out walk, so a base hit and a walk. Now gives the Tigers 2 on with only 1 down. Almeida trying to calm Perez down in this rally in the making for the Tigers. Oliver Ames now sending up their second baseman, Jared Spillane. That is the last name that carries with it a lot of success on athletic fields in Oliver Ames history. And this one sent right back to the mound. Perez will fire to third base to get the out there. And Danny Corsini, not seeing a scenario to get another out, chooses to just hold on to it. That was likely the wise play. So Perez able to cut down the lead runner. Levine out on the 1-2-5 force play. Spillane reaches on the fielder's choice, so it remains runners at first and second base now with 2 outs for the number 8 hitter, Sean O'Brien. And O'Brien takes the first pitch for strike 1. Couple of options there for Perez. He could have spun around and tried to start the 1-6-3 double play. Instead, wanted to cut down that lead runner instead. Certainly not a given that they would have been able to pull off the double play. But meanwhile, Pires firing in back-to-back strikes to jump ahead of O'Brien, 0-2. Trying to get out of this second inning jam. And here is the 0-2 pitch, and it's hit hard down the right field line, but foul. O'Brien right on that pitch, tried to go opposite field with it, but could not keep it inside fair territory, and it stays an 0-2 count. Runners leading away for the Tigers at first and second base. And Pires now with another 0-2 offering, and O'Brien able to hold up on the swing, and the pitch misses outside. Should O'Brien reach, we'd see the number 9 hitter Cooper Haggerty. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs with 2 runners aboard, and the pitch is in the dirt. Held on to by Tyler Almeida. And from 0-2, O'Brien works the count back to even. Ouimet playing well behind the runner at first base. And the 2-2 pitch is dribbled down the first base line in foul territory. And a tough at bat here with 2 strikes for Sean O'Brien. The Oliver Ames dugout now trying to will on a 2-out rally. Pires hoping to see this inning come to an end right here on this next pitch. Has the sign he likes from Almeida. Hesitates, and now the 2-2. And that is in for a called strike 3. It froze O'Brien. And Pires picks a good time for his first strikeout of the ball game. It ends the frame with Oliver Ames stranding 2 runners aboard. 1.5 innings in the books here from Pheno Field. It is Milford 0 and Oliver Ames 0 here on Milford TV. Bottom of the second inning. Scoreless game early on between Milford and Oliver Ames. Danny Corsini stands in the right side batter's box to open up the frame against Nicholas Boudreau. The righty fires in pitch 1 of the inning inside. Boudreau allowing a base runner on a walk in the first inning, but that walk was quickly erased. Here's the 1-0. Missing outside now. As Corsini jumps ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Corsini settling into this cleanup spot in the Milford batting order. And belts one now out to left field. On the move is DeVoe, but that's going to be well over his head into the left center field gap. Corsini digging for second base, where he will get there with a leadoff stand-up double. Well, right on cue, talking about Corsini in this cleanup spot. Batting .412 on the season, and that will take an uptick with that double. It's Corsini's first extra base hit of the year. And immediately Milford with a runner in scoring position now with Tyler Almeida in on the left side. He takes the first pitch away for ball 1. 2 hits in the ball game on Monday for Almeida. Getting the batting average now up to .259. Looking to build on that momentum. Takes a pitch low for ball 2. Corsini leading away from second base. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Aggressive swinging for Almeida. Going after the 2-0 pitch and lofts it foul over the backstop. Two balls and 1 strike. The pitch from Boudreau swung on and sounded like a foul tip into the mitt of Jake Ehrlich for strike 2. Almeida getting that one just off the very top of the bat. And so now a 2-2 count as that one gets uncorked well outside. Bit of a funky delivery for Nicholas Boudreau. And now the 3-2 pitch fouled away. Decent velocity, but at times we've seen those fastballs missing well wide of the plate. Corsini standing away from second base. Another payoff pitch into Almeida is lifted foul off to the left side, but that travels well beyond the third base dugout and out of play. And the Milford bench players once again really far out from that third base dugout area, and especially on a foul ball play like that. A little surprising that the umpires don't keep those players a little closer in. Here's another 3-2 pitch. That misses low for ball 4. So Almeida patient. And rewarded with the second walk by Nicholas Boudreau in this game. And quickly we'll see a visit now from the Oliver Ames coaching staff. Again, Joe Abar, the head coach for Oliver Ames. Head coach for Milford, Alex Dion, looking on in the third base coaches area, where he's hoping to see his team strike first on the afternoon. They've got a couple of runners on with nobody out, and the young and talented Carter Scudo about to dig in. Scudo with a .375 batting average, has 5 runs batted in on the year, batting with a man in scoring position. And again, Boudreau starting off behind. Milford taking a patient approach through these first few innings. And now Scudo sends this one in the air out to shallow center field. In comes O'Brien. Instead, it's the shortstop right where the infield dirt meets the outfield grass. He makes the catch. That one a little deceiving, not traveling quite as far as it appeared at first glance. So it ends up a pop-up right at the edge of the infield. A big first out in the inning for Boudreau. And now the left-handed batting Nicholas Ouimet standing in very tight in that left side box. The first pitch high for ball 1. Now a called strike. And now a wave and a miss puts Ouimet behind in the count 1-2. Check down to second base for Boudreau, and now his 1-2 pitch is popped up in the air over towards third base. The wind taking that one just a bit, but Nick Marks able to hang with it to make the catch. And suddenly there are 2 down. Milford getting runners to first and second base with nobody out. Those runners remain in place now with 2 down, and the Hawks will now look for something out of Luke Rosa to try to do some kind of damage in this inning. Rosa takes the first pitch for strike 1. Luke with a .292 batting average. He has 7 hits and 24 at-bats on the season. Does have 6 runs batted in. And now takes a pitch on the outer edge for a called strike 2. And a lot sharper now in the first 2 pitches of this at-bat for Boudreau. No balls and 2 strikes on the hitter. The next one on the way misses high. If Rosa can keep the inning going, we'd see Justin Appleby. Here's the 1-2 pitch now, and it's popped up foul out of play. Corsini leading off this inning with a ringing double out to left center field. Almeida following that up with a walk. But from there, Boudreau able to induce weak pop-ups out of Scudo and Ouimet. And now trying to dispatch Luke Rosa to end the inning. Here's the 1-2, and it's hit hard on the ground towards shortstop. A bobble out of Chris Pearsons, but able to go the short route to second base and beats Tyler Almeida to the bag for the out that ends the inning. So a frustrating second for the Scarlet Hawks. Very promising, but they could not score. And we've played 2 now from Fino Field, where it remains scoreless between Milford and Oliver Ames, as you enjoy coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. Batters 9-1-2 due up for the Tigers against Colby Perez in a game that remains scoreless. Perez missing with ball 1 to Cooper Haggerty, the Oliver Ames first baseman. And Haggerty now sends a pitch out into center field. Back goes Marcolini, but he's there to make the catch. One down in the inning. Both teams had opportunities in that second inning. Each side with a pair of base runners on, but both pitchers able to get in and out of trouble. And Perez now will take his second trip through this Oliver Ames lineup. Chris Pearson's up. He grounded out to shortstop to open up the ball game. 1-0 pitch is low. And now a line drive hit over the head of Justin Appleby at second base and out into right field. Some opposite field hitting for Pearsons, and he is aboard with the second Oliver Ames hit of the day. Pearson's getting a lot of preseason buzz as being one of the top all-around players in the Hockomock League. Now 1 for 2 on the afternoon, getting some attention from Perez on the pickoff throw before the at-bat begins for Nick Marks. Now a low throw over to first base is going to go all the way to the edge of the playing surface, and up to second base goes Chris Pearsons. That ball might have gone clear off the field, but they hold the runner at second base. So an errant throw on Perez. There's the first Milford error. That puts the runner in scoring position. And now a big lead for Pearsons at second base as this ball is hit on the ground to shortstop, and Shaver cannot play it cleanly. Everyone's going to be safe. And now Oliver Ames with runners at the corners, and all of a sudden a streak of sloppy play here for Milford, getting them into trouble. That should go as a straight error at shortstop for Matt Shaver. That was a very playable ball. Just didn't look it into his glove. So the error on the pickoff throw, and now the error at shortstop, leads to runners at first and third with just 1 out in the inning. And Coach Dion trying to settle everyone down out there on the infield. And in terms of the errant throw for Colby Perez at first base, you know, there's a fine line between being aware of base runners and being a little bit too preoccupied. And I think if there's one thing we've seen in these last couple of games is these Milford pitchers getting a little bit fixated with the runners on. We saw it from Danny Corsini on Monday against Stoughton, and it ended up resulting in Corsini getting called for a balk and then a run scoring. And now Perez fires a pitch in the dirt as the runner takes off from first base, and Marks gets into second without a throw. So the steal places two in scoring position now with one away. Takes the conventional double play off the table. Reed Latham at the plate, the number 3 hitter, now with a couple of runners in scoring position. Sends a ground ball now slowly to shortstop. Tricky hop for Shaver. Throws low to first base, gets the out there. But in the back door from third base comes Pearsons with the first run of the game. Nick Marks also advances on the play. And so Oliver Ames able to take a 1-0 lead. Latham will get the RBI on the ground out. And now Perez hoping to shut down the inning without any more damage done, but another runner stands at third base for the cleanup hitter Jake Ehrlich. Frustrating turn of events here for Milford after getting out of the top of the second inning jam. They had a golden opportunity to score first in the bottom of the second inning, but could not cash in, and now Oliver Ames taking advantage. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That is low. Command a little bit in and out for Perez through these early innings. And now the 2-0 pitch is sent in the air out to center field. Back at first was Marcolini, now races in and is able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. So Perez able to strand that runner at third, but Oliver Ames able to get the first run of the ball game. They take a 1-0 lead over Milford as we head to the bottom half of the third inning next here on Milford TV. Called strike gets this bottom half of the third inning started. Nicholas Boudreau now pitching with a lead, facing the Milford number 9 hitter Justin Appleby, who will quickly fall behind in the count 0-2. Appleby with a nice looking batting average at an even .400 coming into this afternoon's contest. Here's the 0-2, and it's hit hard right to the backstop, and it stays an 0-2 count. Appleby, 10 hits on the season in 25 at-bats. 3 of those hits have been doubles. Another player with 6 RBIs on this team. He's also scored 3 runs. I beg your pardon, scored 5 runs on the season. So he's been quite productive out of this number 9 spot. Now takes a pitch down low and works it to a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Now the next pitch misses down and away for ball 3. You would think that the approach for Coach Dion, trying to get that circular feel to the lineup with Appleby almost serving as another leadoff hitter out of this number 9 spot, and now sends one on the ground, perfectly placed through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Looked like Appleby choked up on the bat a little bit there, poked it to the right side of the infield and just beyond the reach of Jared Spillane at second, and Appleby on with another base hit. Second straight inning that Milford's gotten the leadoff man on. And now a second trip to the plate for Nick Marcolini, who grounded out his first time up. Briefly shows bunt. Pulls the bat back and takes ball 1 high. Peek over at first base for Boudreau. Now sets and fires and sends a strike in to even the count at 1-1. Fans dispersed in all corners of Pheno Field checking out this game this afternoon as Marcolini now sends a pop-up just out onto the left field grass where Chris Pearsons races out from shortstop to make the catch. Marcolini 0 for 2. And there is one out now in this third inning.
Like, where's Malcolm?
So now Matt Shaver. He swings away at the first pitch and hits it far and foul, out of play off to the right. Shaver a walk his first time up, but was then erased from the bases, trying to steal second base, getting caught by Jake Ehrlich on a nice throw. Now takes a fastball up top. A ball and a strike. One out and a runner at first base. Decent speed with Justin Appleby. He's not shown an inclination to run. Now he does. The pitch is swung on and missed, and no throw from Ehrlich. He couldn't get a clean handle on the baseball. And so Appleby a theft of second base. Might have been a hit and run play on. Shaver couldn't make contact, but fortunately Appleby gets down to second base safely, and now Boudreau misses outside with a pitch to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Shaver. Shaver digging back in, he's ready. The 2-2 pitch, and it's fought off out into shallow right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Coach Dion initially giving the stop sign. Now he waves Appleby around as Reed Latham had trouble getting to that ball in right field, and Appleby scores. And Milford is able to tie this ball game up at 1. That ball sliced out to shallow right field, out of the reach of the Oliver Ames infield. Latham couldn't come in on it to make the catch. Initially, Coach Dion was content to stop that runner at third base, but Latham with a little bit of trouble, and Coach Dion ends up waving that runner in, and Appleby scores without a throw to the plate. So a tied ball game now with Perez at the plate. Takes that pitch outside, so that will likely go as a base hit for Shaver. And then an error on the right fielder to allow that run to score. Appleby would not have scored if Latham had played that cleanly, so both sides now with an error. An unearned run scoring for the Hawks here in the bottom of the third. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count to Colby Perez. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. Perez grounded out to shortstop back in the first inning. Milford now out hitting Oliver Ames 3-2. Shaver takes off for second base as the pitch is tapped over to third. Waiting for it is Marks. He slings it to first base to get the out there. But with Shaver in motion, no chance for Oliver Ames to turn 2. And so a 2-out runner in scoring position for Danny Corsini. And if Danny does what he did in the first inning, Milford will plate another run. Corsini with a hard shot out to left center field for a double. Holds up on the swing and takes strike one against Nicholas Boudreau. It was staked to a one-run lead, but it's allowed Milford to immediately come back to tie the score. And now Corsini falling behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Boudreau back to the set. The 0-2 up high. Milford with an opportunity to take the lead if they can cash in with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. It's sent slowly back up the middle. Pearsons has it go through the wickets out into shallow center field. And here comes Shaver around from third base to score. And indeed, the Scarlet Hawks are able to claim the lead. It is now 2-1 Milford. So it has been Oliver Ames' defense that has led the way in part for this rally. First the error out in right field, allowing Appleby to come home to score, and now the error by Chris Pearsons. So 2 unearned runs. But Milford will take it. So Corsini now is the lone Milford runner at first base as Tyler Almeida takes a look at strike one. Almeida worked a walk in his first at bat. And Oliver Ames now starting to get some activity, loosening in their bullpen. The 1-0 pitch is high. It is a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The next pitch low. Coach Dion going through the signs over in the third base coach's box, accepted by both batter and runner. And now Almeida watches ball 3 miss outside, maybe a little bit low. Again, Corsini steps out to a lead at first base, being held on by Haggerty. And the 3-1 pitch belted down the right field line, but foul. Almeida frustrated he couldn't keep that one in fair territory. He stung it well, but in foul territory down the right field line. And so now a full count. Runner takes off. The payoff pitch is hit on the ground to second base, narrowly missing the runner. Now bobbled, and the throw to first base is not in time. So in the end, Corsini might have shielded Spillane from getting a good look at that ground ball. He bobbled it at his feet, and by the time he collected it and fired to first, Almeida able to beat the throw. And so the third Oliver Ames error of the inning allows us to now get to Carter Scudo, who starts off ahead in the count. Errors in right field, at shortstop and at second base, all in this third inning for the Tigers. And now Scudo with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Carter popped out to shortstop his first time up. And the 2-0 pitch drops in the dirt, takes a hard bounce all the way to the backstop. Corsini takes a turn around third base, but will hold there. Almeida down to second. And things really breaking down for the Tigers in this inning. Now a wild pitch puts 2 runners in scoring position with a 3-ball, no-strike count on Scudo. We'll see if Scudo is aggressive here. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Instead, he takes it all the way for a called strike 1. And now the 3-1 pitch. Scudo sends it on the ground to shortstop. Again, the runner getting in the way, but concentration this time from Pearsons, who was able to haul it in and fire to first to get the out that ends the inning. So Milford strands 2, but they do collect 2 runs in the inning, and in so doing, they take a 2-1 lead over Oliver Ames as we head to the 4th inning next here on Milford TV. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Milford. 1 run, 2 hits, and now 3 errors for Oliver Ames. Sloppy play by the Tigers in the bottom of the 3rd inning opened the door for Milford to play to pair and take the lead. And Colby Perez now fires in strike 1 as he faces Jacob Levine, C.J. DeVoe, and Jared Spillane, batters 5, 6, and 7 in the OA order. And a wave and a miss brings the count to 0-2. And now a pitch misses high. One thing that we've observed about this Milford team in the games that we have covered so far on the season is they've done a good job responding. If a team scores a run, we've seen more often than not them take the opportunity to come right back the next time they come to the plate. Here's a ground ball hit to shortstop. Good play from Matt Shaver going to his right and then making a good accurate throw to first base to get Levine to open up the inning. The ball game on Monday, a good example of that from the Scarlet Hawks. Stoughton scoring a run in the top of the 3rd inning. Milford coming back to tie the game in the bottom half. Ultimately taking the lead through the middle innings, and then as Stoughton was able to tie the game with a run in the 6th inning. Milford jumping back on top in the bottom half of the inning and walking away with the victory. Responding with 2 runs here to take a 2-1 lead on Oliver Ames. The bases are empty with 1 down in this top of the 4th, and now a 3-ball, no-strike count quickly on C.J. DeVoe. DeVoe walked his first time up, now takes a called strike. Looked like he was about to discard the bat, thinking he had worked a second walk. But for the time being, the count goes to 3-1. And now the pitch swung on and missed. Pitch had late movement down in the zone. And a full count now on DeVoe. Here's the payoff pitch, and it swung on and missed. Perez battles back and gets his 2nd strikeout of the ball game. 2 up and 2 down in the 4th. Now for Jared Spillane. He reached on a fielder's choice in his first at bat. Now takes a called strike 1. Perez settling into a little groove here in the 4th inning, starting to pick up the pace with these pitches. Here's his 0-1, and it's sent back up the middle, and that's going to get through for a 2-out base hit. So Spillane prevents Perez from enjoying a 1-2-3 inning. The 3rd Tigers hit puts a runner aboard ahead of Sean O'Brien. O'Brien struck out looking against Colby Perez to end the 2nd inning. The runner takes off as this pitch is floated out behind first base, where Ouimet is able to run it down in foul territory, making the over-the-shoulder catch with his back towards home plate. Nice play by Ouimet to retire the side here in the top of the fourth inning. The runner stranded for the Tigers. And we'll move right on to the bottom half of the fourth inning next with the score Milford 2 and Oliver Ames 1 right here on Milford TV. Bottom of the fourth inning now here at Pheno Field. Milford with a slim 2-1 lead over Oliver Ames, and a new pitcher on for the Tigers. Tyler Avery taking over for the starting pitcher Nicholas Boudreau, who went the first 3 innings. Allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, but both of those runs unearned. Did not strike out a batter, walked 2. Looks to be the only change for Oliver Ames. The defensive alignment appears unchanged. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Nicholas Ouimet, who made a nice defensive play to conclude the top half of this inning. Now sends a grounder to first base, where Cooper Haggerty makes the play unassisted. And Ouimet is out number 1. And the second at bat on the day now coming up for Luke Rosa. And Rosa takes the first pitch high. So a better start to this inning for OA pitching than the previous 2. Boudreau allowing the leadoff batter to reach in both the second and third innings. He was able to get away with it in the second. The third inning, however, that leadoff man came around to score in what ended up being a 2-run rally. Here's a 1-1 pitch, up and in. The next pitch from Avery is low for ball 3. Justin Appleby waiting on deck. Nobody on with 1 down in the home half of the fourth. And the 3-1 pitch is just over the inside corner for a called strike 2. Breeze coming in a little bit harder in towards the plate now. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Rosa down on strikes. That is the first strikeout for Oliver Ames pitching on the afternoon. Avery, a good start to his relief appearance, getting the first 2 in the fourth. Now Appleby holding up on the swing, but ends up taking a called strike 1. Justin sparked that rally last inning with a leadoff base hit. Stole second base and then ended up coming around on the base hit by Shaver, with the error out in right field also playing a role. Appleby this time sends a 2-hopper to shortstop. Good strong throw across the way from Chris Pearsons, and that will put the finishing touches on a 1-2-3 inning out of the bullpen for Tyler Avery. And we are through with 4 full innings of play now from Pheno Field, where the score remains 2-1 in favor of the Milford Scarlet Hawks here on Milford TV. Tim Coet continuing the coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV here at Pheno Field. Our third opportunity on the season to bring you the coverage of this Scarlet Hawks baseball team. Milford at 5-5 on the season. Looking to jump back over the 500 mark in another tight ball game. Up 2-1 on the Oliver Ames Tigers, and a quick 0-2 count on Cooper Haggerty in the inning, who now sends one out to shallow left field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Very good 2-strike hitting for Cooper Haggerty. Just took that pitch out to the opposite field and aboard with a leadoff hit, and immediately Oliver Ames puts the tying run on. Milford starting to get some activity loosened now in their bullpen. As Perez now fires in ball one to the OA leadoff hitter, Chris Pearson's now his third trip to the plate. And now missing outside, Almeida with a snap throw over to first base, but Haggerty able to get back standing. Looks like it is Mario Lee warming up once again for the Scarlet Hawks. Came in to pitch the final 2 innings of Monday's ball game, earned the victory. And now Perez buries that strike on the inside part of the plate against Pearson's to bring the count to 1-2. Pearson's 1 hit and 2 trips to the plate. He scored Oliver Ames' run back in the third. So correction, the count now 3 balls and 1 strike on the hitter. And now that pitch misses badly outside for Colby Perez, and an inauspicious start to this 5th inning. Perez giving up the base hit on an 0-2 pitch to the number 9 hitter. And now allows his second walk of the game, and a visit out to the mound now for the Scarlet Hawks coaching staff as Mario Lee continues to loosen. You'd think ideally Coach Dion was hoping to get his starting pitcher through this inning. But Oliver Ames now with the tying run in scoring position at second base, the go-ahead run at first. And Nick Marks now digging in at the plate. He reached on an error his last time up. Officially 0 for 2. And now they have the runner picked off at second base. The trail runner advances now to second base, so they can just walk the runner back towards the second base bag, and he is out. So Cooper Haggerty getting caught as now doing some dancing off the second base bag as Pearson. So Oliver Ames playing with fire there. A great move from Colby Perez, froze that runner away from the second base bag, and at that point it was only a matter of time, especially with Pearson's quickly moving up into scoring position. So a big out there for Milford. Haggerty out on the pickoff. Pearson's ultimately advancing to second base, so the lone runner is at second base with 1 down. Nick Marks still waiting to see the first pitch of his at bat. And it misses for a ball. One ball, no strikes. Big lead at second base for Pearson's. And now time granted. And now a hard ground ball down the third base line. They will rule that a foul ball. That was close. Looked to hug that line all the way down. Corsini was able to play it on the backhand behind the third base bag, but a foul ball will bring Marks back to the plate with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Would have been a tough throw for Corsini with his momentum taking him towards foul territory. Another sizable lead at second base for Pearson's. Now Shaver cheating in behind. They'll send the throw in, and Pearson's able to slide back in. Pearson's has been bold on the bases, even after the pickoff. Did a little dancing off the second base bag, almost got caught himself. Now bounces right back out to another big lead. Appleby now trying to keep him close as Perez fires into the plate, sends a ground ball back up the middle. Shaver has it. Throw to first base is held on to by Nicholas Ouimet for out number 2. The out goes 6-3. Pearsons advances to third base now, but with 2 down. So the tying run there at third base. Perez looking to focus in now on the man at the plate, Reed Latham, who has the Oliver Ames RBI. It came on a ground out back in the third. And he takes the first pitch on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. That one bent back towards the strike zone for Perez. Now the 0-1 pitch looked to be a breaking ball that did not break. It stayed upstairs and evens the count at 1-1. Perez to the set. Here's his pitch. Low for ball 2. Not missing by much. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. And a pop-up sent foul behind first base. Ouimet will go as far as he can, but that will take a bounce in the bleachers behind the first base dugout. Not too far away from our first base camera. Operated today by Scott Crisafulli. 2-2 the count. And the pitch. It's sent foul. 'Twas fortunate for Scott over there on the first base side. He has Coach Anthony Vazakis in close proximity. Coach Vazakis probably would have kept him out of harm's way. Here's another 2-2 offering, and that's in for strike 3. The third strikeout of the game for Colby Perez. He gets Latham looking, and Oliver Ames strands the tying run at third base. We head now to the bottom half of inning number 5. It is still a 2-1 lead for the Milford Scarlet Hawks here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Top of the Milford order due up in the bottom of the 5th. Nick Marcolini, Matt Shaver, and Colby Perez against the Oliver Ames reliever Tyler Avery, who had a very good 4th inning, set down the side in order. Marcolini now with a line drive out to shallow left center field. That touches down for a base hit. And so Marcolini now 1 for 3 on the afternoon, gives Milford their 4th hit. So that hit column once again even between these two teams. Milford also leading where it counts. 2-1 in the run column, and hoping to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. So they once again have the leadoff man aboard. The 3rd time in the last 4 innings they've been able to do so. The runner takes off. The pitch is a strike. The throw from the catcher is high. It rolls out into shallow center field, but not far enough for Marcolini to try and advance further. So Ehrlich with an excellent throw to cut down a base runner back in the 1st inning. That throw sailed on him. And so Marcolini safe on the steal. Quickly in scoring position for Shaver, who pops one foul and out of play. That's the 6th stolen base of this regular season for Marcolini. That leads the club. One ball and 1 strike on Shaver. He had a hit and a run scored back in the 3rd. And Avery now will step off, trying to keep Marcolini close to the second base bag. Now the 1-1 pitch, Shaver pops it up. Over towards second base, now on to the outfield grass. Backpedaling with Spillane, but able to make the play. Looked like he was starting to panic a bit there at the end, but was able to catch up. So 1 out in the inning. Marcolini remains at second base. And now the third plate appearance for Colby Perez, who's had a quiet day at the plate. 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. He's had a very good day on the pitcher's mound to this point. 5 innings of 1-run ball. Now takes the first pitch low for ball 1. See if Coach Dion elects to send Perez out for the 6th inning, or if he chooses to hand the game over to Mario Lee, who was warming in the bullpen as that top half of the 5th inning went along. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Perez. Here's the pitch, and Perez could not catch up to it. Falls behind 1-2. Now the next pitch from Avery is swung on and missed. Perez lunged after that one. Avery with his 2nd strikeout. The 2 down now. Corsini looking to pick up the 2-out RBI, but he comes up empty on the swing. Falls behind 0-1. Avery a couple of looks down to second base, now fires in. The runner takes off, the pitch a strike, and the throw there waiting for Nick Marcolini. And the infield umpire is going to say Marcolini was safe. And the Oliver Ames head coach now out to argue. The infield umpire from in front of the second base bag making that safe call, and just a very quick interaction between Coach Abar and the infield umpire, and the OA head coach satisfied. That throw appeared to beat Marcolini by a wide margin, but somehow Marcolini creative with the slide to get the foot in there safely. So now at third base with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. As now Corsini swings and misses. Very close play at the third base bag. Can Milford do something with it? Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's in for a called strike 3. So in the end, Tyler Avery able to hold that runner at third base. Milford has an opportunity to extend the lead, but they cannot. So we will head now to the 6th inning here at Pheno Field in another tight, low-scoring ball game. 2-1 in favor of Milford over Oliver Ames on Milford TV. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Scarlet Hawks. 1 run, 4 hits, 3 errors for the Oliver Ames Tigers. We are now into inning number 6. Oliver Ames will send batters 4, 5, and 6 to the plate against Colby Perez. And Jake Ehrlich sends that ball foul right off the handle of the bat. Start off with a no-ball, 1-strike count. Perez back into the windup. The pitch in for strike 2. We're watching our live stream viewer numbers slowly uptick as this game goes on. So if you are joining us on our live stream here this afternoon, happy to have you with us. Tim Coet here on the call for Milford TV. And if you happen to be watching us after the fact on the Milford TV educational channel or on YouTube, we will oftentimes go live with streaming coverage of our Scarlet Hawks athletics. We suggest you follow us on Twitter. We'll give you a live coverage alert if we're about to go live. And then you can tune into us by downloading the live stream app on your mobile device and search for the Milford TV educational feed. And if you're at your computer, you can simply log on to milfordtv.net, where we stream both of our channels live 24/7. It is now a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Jake Ehrlich, leading off the top of the 6th for the Tigers. Here's the pitch, and that misses just high. The Milford bench wanted that call. The fans did as well. But ruled ball 3, and now a full count to the OA backstop. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's belted out into center field. On the move is Marcolini, but that's going to be over his head. And extra bases for Ehrlich as the throw is fired in offline towards second base, and Jake Ehrlich into second base with a leadoff double. The first Oliver Ames extra base hit of the game. It's their 5th hit overall on the day, and it will be the final batter for Colby Perez. And so Mario Lee will come on to pitch here. It looked like Marcolini was starting to come in as if he might be involved in the move, but we will see Lee for the 2nd straight game come out of the Milford bullpen, inheriting another tricky situation. So we'll take a break for the pitching change. More to come in a moment here on Milford TV. For the 2nd straight game, Milford turns to Mario Lee for a late inning relief appearance. Lee pitched the final 2 innings of the ball game on Monday against Stoughton. He ended up inheriting a bases-loaded no-out jam in the 6th inning of that game. Nearly pitched his way out of it with no runs allowed. Got 2 outs in the inning before he allowed 1 inherited runner to score on a bases-loaded walk before shutting down the rally. And then pitched a scoreless 7th inning to earn the victory. So overall now, this is the 7th appearance for Lee. All of those coming out of the bullpen. He's got a 1-1 record and a 1.97 ERA. Coach Dion likes Lee out of the bullpen for his ability to induce swings and misses with his good velocity. But as we've seen in these last 2 games, as he's warmed up, at times he can uncork that fastball to the backstop. So relying on control to match that velocity. Now sends the first pitch in low to the number 5 hitter, Jacob Levine, who bats with the tying run in scoring position at second base and nobody out. Big lead at second base for Ehrlich, or excuse me, the pinch runner, I should say. It is Justin Sarnecki pinch running for Ehrlich at second. Getting a little extra speed on the bases. And meanwhile, a 2-ball, no-strike count at the plate for Jacob Levine. And now a called strike. Fastball running towards the inside part of the plate. Lee back to the set, now the 2-1, and this is sent out to right field. Towards the line goes Justin Appleby, and he's able to make the catch, and that forces Sarnecki to hold up at second base. So that was part of the shifting around as Lee came into the game on the pitcher's mound. It's the same shifting we saw on Monday with Justin Appleby moving from second base out to right. Perez now at second base. So Appleby getting tested right away and making a nice running catch for out number 1. Runner still at second base now for C.J. Boudreau. And he takes the first pitch strike. Boudreau a walk and a strikeout so far in 2 plate appearances. Now a fastball high brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. A lead once again for the pinch runner Sarnecki at second base as DeVoe, with a half-hearted swing, falls behind 1-2. Blankets starting to come out all around in the Pheno Field stands as this game takes on a cooler feel as we get into these late innings. 1-2 pitch now. Held there by Almeida, but ruled outside for ball 2. A tough take for DeVoe. Two balls and 2 strikes. The windup and the pitch. Popped up foul over towards the third base dugout, right to the very edge of the field of play and beyond. Beyond the grasp of Danny Corsini. And DeVoe hangs in there with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Good battle between the right-handed tossing Mario Lee and the left-handed batting C.J. DeVoe, and now the 2-2 pitch is wasted up and away. And that brings the count full. DeVoe ready, Lee ready, and the payoff pitch is popped up foul out of play. And we'll do it again. Jared Spillane, the Oliver Ames second baseman, waiting in the on-deck area. Tying run at second base, 1 out. And Lee ready to fire in another 3-2 pitch, and he misses high for ball 4. A lengthy at bat for C.J. DeVoe, and he's able to work the walk against Mario Lee. That's the 3rd walk now for Milford pitching this afternoon. Runners at first and second base with 1 out for the Tigers, and now their number 7 hitter Jared Spillane digs in. Spillane's been on base twice. He reached on a fielder's choice in the second and singled in his second at bat. Now sends the ball to second base, and Colby Perez, who had to backpedal on that ball, tried to set his feet and fire into second base, but he spiked the throw in there, and Shaver could not dig it out, and everyone is safe. Perez had to go back on the ball. At that point, there was no chance he was going to get a double play. He was closer to the second base bag, but he may have had a better chance of making a clean throw to first. At any rate, he does not get an out at any location. So Spillane reaches on a fielder's choice for the 2nd time today. DeVoe safe at second. And Milford now with their 2nd error of the ball game. And once again, gut check time for Mario Lee here in the late innings in a bases loaded situation. Justin Sarnecki is the lead runner at third base, C.J. DeVoe at second, Jared Spillane at first. And ball 1 issued to the number 8 hitter, Sean O'Brien. The runner at third base is the responsibility of the starting pitcher, Colby Perez. The rest of the runners belong to Mario Lee. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Lee dialing up some extra velocity to get that pitch past the bat of O'Brien. Sean today a strikeout in the second inning and then fouled out to first base to end the fourth. And a swing and a miss on another good live fastball from Lee, and he's able to jump ahead 1-2. Just rearing back on these last two pitches. Lee nods his approval to the sign from Almeida. Now the 1-2 pitch is popped up behind home plate. Almeida couldn't find it at first. Now he's there to make the catch. And there are 2 outs now in the inning. The rest of the infield directing traffic, and eventually Almeida was able to find it with this overcast sky. And the sun going down, not the easiest sky to track down those pop-ups, but Almeida able to do it. 2 outs in the inning and a huge spot for the Oliver Ames number 9 hitter, Cooper Haggerty. And the pitch from Lee swung on and missed as that pitch really popped the mid of Almeida. Cooper Haggerty was able to fight off a pitch out into right field for an opposite field base hit his last time up. The 0-1 pitch, and that's in at the knees for strike 2. A lot of chatter coming out of both dugouts right now in a key situation in this game. 2 outs, the base is loaded for Oliver Ames, and an 0-2 pitch coming up to Cooper Haggerty. Here it comes, and it misses outside. You could see Almeida set up out there. They wanted Haggerty to chase, but that pitch too far outside. Not tempting. And so now 1-2 the count. Lee back to the set. And the pitch. Outside again. Tense moments here at Pheno Field. An Oliver Ames runner at every base. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch swung on and missed. Mario Lee gets the strikeout, and Oliver Ames strands the bases loaded in the 6th inning. More good pitching in the late innings for Mario Lee. And Milford is able to escape the jam with the lead intact. On to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is still a 2-1 lead for Milford over Oliver Ames here on Milford TV. Milford has not been able to generate very much offense at all in this game. They scratched 2 runs across in the 3rd inning, helped along quite a bit by some shaky defense by the Tigers. And that is all the damage that Milford has been able to do, but so far it's been enough. The slimmest of leads for Milford as we are now into the bottom of the 6th inning. Tyler Almeida leads off the inning, and he sends a base hit through the right side of the infield. The 3rd time Almeida's been on base. He walked in the 2nd, reached on an error in the 3rd, and now singles here to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. And Milford could certainly use a few insurance runs on the scoreboard. And we'll see a pinch runner now come out to replace Tyler Almeida. Jaden Fernandez out of the Milford dugout. The junior running for the senior captain, Tyler Almeida. Carter Scudo at the dish. He takes the first pitch up and in for ball 1. Scudo quiet so far today. He's popped out and grounded out to shortstop. One ball and 1 strike. Now a fastball misses inside. Tyler Avery into his 3rd inning of relief. He has been very good since replacing Nicholas Boudreau. He's allowed now 2 hits. He's also struck out 3. Pitched a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. Pitched around a leadoff base hit in the 5th inning. Gives up a leadoff knock again here in the 6th. But he has fallen behind Carter Scudo 3-1. And now the pitch misses high for ball 4. So Scudo will trot down to first base. And the first 2 batters have reached here in the 6th inning for the Scarlet Hawks. And back out of the dugout now comes the Oliver Ames coaching staff. While this has been a good rivalry between these 2 schools over the years, ever since both have been a part of the Hockomock League, it is not a matchup that has been particularly kind to Milford. Looking back over the previous few seasons, Milford has not won a game against Oliver Ames. In their lone matchup on the regular season last year, Oliver Ames notched a mercy rule victory over Milford. More on that in a moment. First, Ouimet with a sacrifice bunt out towards the pitcher's mound, and they're going to say that Ouimet was safe. A breakdown on the right side of the infield. Both pitcher and first baseman coming in to field the bunt, and Spillane was late to cover the second base bag. The throw and the runner looked to get there right around the same time, but they rule Ouimet was safe. And again, Coach Abar out to voice his disagreement. Again, it was another bang-bang play, so very similar to what we saw on the throw to third base on the steal attempt for Nick Marcolini earlier in the game, a play that looked like Marcolini was out, ended up being ruled safe, and now the bang-bang play at the first base bag with Milford once again getting the benefit of the call, but we'll at least see the 2 umpires come together this time. And the home plate ump now traveling out close to the pitcher's mound, and suddenly now Coach Dion's interest has been piqued in the outcome of this conversation. At the very least, Milford will have 2 in scoring position with 1 out, but hoping for a bases loaded no out opportunity. And so the call will stand. The umpires coming together, but not changing the call. So Ouimet was ready to sacrifice himself, but he ends up getting the bonus of a bunt base hit. And so Milford now with the bases loaded. Oliver Ames could not cash in on a bases loaded chance in their half of the 6th inning. Milford hoping for different results as Luke Rosa stands in. The Milford bench roaring as Rosa takes a look at ball 1. The substitution rules a little bit more relaxed at the high school level. Rosa coming out of the game defensively in the top half of this inning, but retains his spot in the lineup. And is now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. The infield is in tight all the way around for the Tigers. Avery now with a 2-0 pitch, and Rosa takes it low for ball 3. Nowhere to put Rosa. Gut check time. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And a borderline strike just grazing the inside part of the plate. And the count now 3-1. Here is the 3-1 pitch. That is up and in for ball 4. A bases loaded walk And Fernandez will come trotting into the plate, and Fernandez, the pinch runner, almost made his way back to the dugout without touching home plate first. But he makes it official as Milford does grab an insurance run. They take now a 3-1 lead, and we will see another pitching change now on the Tigers side as the bases are reloaded for Milford. Still no outs in this 6th inning. The Hawks looking to continue to tack on to what is now a 3-1 lead. And a quick pause for the pitching change before we come back with more here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. The third pitcher utilized by Oliver Ames on the afternoon is Ryan Torgerson. He will pitch with the bases loaded and nobody out as Justin Appleby sends the first pitch out to left field for a base hit. In to score comes Carter Scudo. The second run of the inning on the second hit of the day for Justin Appleby. He drives in a run to make it 4-1 in favor of the Scarlet Hawks. The run charged to Tyler Avery. Cannot quite close the book on him yet. And Milford now with a big inning in the making. The line keeps on moving. Bases loaded now for Nick Marcolini, who jumps ahead 1-0. And now a 2-ball, no-strike count. Big old-timey delivery out of Ryan Torgerson. Now the 2-0 pitch. That hugs the outside part of the plate. Three hits now in this inning for the Scarlet Hawks. They now have 7 overall. And Marcolini now with a pop-up on the infield. Playable for Pearsons. They put the infield fly rule into effect. But Pearsons ended up making the grab, so there is the first out of the inning. Runners hold in place now for Matt Shaver. Shaver's been on base twice, once on a walk, once on a base hit. Last time up, he popped out to second base. And now a called strike and a quick snap throw. Back to the second base bag. Safely was Luke Rosa. Dangerous throw for Jake Ehrlich. Now the 0-1 pitch. Low for a ball. So we mentioned the 16-1 mercy rule defeat that Milford suffered to Oliver Ames last season. Different story here today. Now Matt Shaver sends a fly ball out to left center field. The left and center fielders collide. A hard collision in the outfield, and both players are down as multiple runs will score for Milford. 2 runs in, and both C.J. DeVoe and Sean O'Brien are very shaken up in the outfield as they full-on collided. No communication in the outfield as the two came together, and the training staffs for both of these teams are going to race now out to left center field. Milford scores 2 runs to open up now a 6-1 lead, but immediately now the attention turns to the 2 Oliver Ames outfielders who will seek attention now from both of these teams. We will pause for the injury timeout. Now a 6-1 lead for Milford over Oliver Ames here on Milford TV. Well, after an extended injury delay, the good news is both C.J. DeVoe and Sean O'Brien were able to walk off the field under their own power. They were down for a couple of minutes. Neither could even get that throw back onto the infield after that collision. That was about as nasty as you're going to see. Full speed for both DeVoe in left and O'Brien in center. They came together in hard contact. Neither could secure the catch after the impact, and Milford was able to score 2 runs. So both players have now been removed from the game. Kyle O'Connor now takes over in left field for DeVoe. Jack Richardson is now in the game in center field, replacing Sean O'Brien. And meanwhile, some warm-up tosses now permitted here for Ryan Torgerson, as the complexion of this game has changed in a hurry. We'll put that in the books as an E7, as I believe it was DeVoe who initially made contact with the ball, but after the impact, it fell to the ground between the left and center fielders, allowing both Nicholas Ouimet and Luke Rosa to score. Justin Appleby is now the lead runner at second base, with Matt Shaver at second. Appleby at third base, Shaver at second base, with 1 out in the inning, and now a 6-1 Scarlet Hawks lead. It's been a 4-run 6th inning so far. Three hits, 2 walks, and the error. And meanwhile, there continues to be a delay as we are very quickly losing the light. And as a matter of fact, it looks like we might have a delay. I believe the lights are about to come on here at Pheno Field, so they may be just holding the action for a moment until the lights get fired up. It's been a heavy overcast sky throughout this entire day. We're now a little bit after 6 o'clock, so the pace of this game is dragged down a bit into these late innings, thanks partially to first the bases loaded chance for Oliver Ames, which they were unable to capitalize on in the top half of this 6th inning. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, but Mario Lee able to get a pop-up off the bat of Sean O'Brien before striking out Cooper Haggerty to end the threat, and Milford pushing momentum further into their favor, as now we're finally set to continue with Colby Perez at the plate, and he takes a look at ball 1. So all of the runs that have scored so far in this inning were charged to Tyler Avery, as now Perez sends a fly ball again out to left center field, and that's going to drop. No one there to make the play. It dropped between O'Connor, Richardson, and the shortstop Pearsons, and you have to wonder if maybe Oliver Ames was a little bit gun-shy going after that pop-up after what just happened moments ago. So bloop base hit for Colby Perez, chases in another run, and it is now 7-1 Milford. Appleby crosses the plate. Runners at first and second base now for the 9th Milford batter to come to the plate in the 7th inning, Danny Corsini. And he sends a shot to third base. A bobble for the third baseman, Nick Marks, who fortunately that ball rolled in the direction of the third base bag. Marks just able to put a foot down on it to get the force play. That erases Matt Shaver from the equation. Perez safely down to second base. Corsini reaches on the fielder's choice. So it's first and second now with 2 down. And the batter who started this rally, Tyler Almeida, now makes his 2nd plate appearance of the frame. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Now the 1-1 pitch misses for ball 2. Lights now just about up to full strength here at Pheno. And a 2-1 pitch. That one sent just over the backstop, and a hard thud off the facade of the press box. That one didn't have quite the height to make it in the window here today. So now a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The pitch to Almeida is sent softly over towards the right side. It's scooped up by the second baseman, but nobody to cover the first base bag. Everyone is going to be safe. And an opportunity for Oliver Ames to get out of the inning, but the pitcher late to cover the first base bag. Both Jared Spillane and Cooper Haggerty traveling into the hole at second base to try to field that ball. It was Spillane who got there. The responsibility of Torgerson to get to the first base bag, but could not do it. And now Carter Scudo lifts a fly ball, pretty decent depth out to center field, but Jack Richardson is there to make the catch that finally brings an end to this bottom half of the 6th inning, but not before Milford gets some insurance. Did they ever? Now a 7-1 lead for the Scarlet Hawks as we head to the 7th inning next here on Milford TV. A 6-run lead now for the Milford Scarlet Hawks. The score now 7-1. After Milford sent 11 batters to the plate in the bottom half of the 6th inning, they scored 5 runs on 4 hits. A tough inning all the way around for Oliver Ames. Seeing 2 of their outfielders injured on a nasty collision. And that collision resulted in 2 of those 5 runs crossing the plate. And Milford now 3 outs away from their 2nd consecutive victory. They have their 3rd pitcher of the day on the mound in Nick Marcolini. He faces the top of this Oliver Ames order. So Luke Rosa returns to the outfield. He's back out in right. Justin Appleby now shifts to center field. And a 1-ball, 1-strike pitch coming in. It misses high. Chris Pearson's at the plate. He's been on base twice. Marcolini, the left-handed reliever, now fires low for ball 3. So with the 6-run lead, Coach Dion not wanting to press Mario Lee for a multiple inning relief appearance for the 2nd game in a row. Now Marcolini getting the opportunity. Gets a ground ball foul down the 3rd base line to bring the count to 3-2. And now the payoff pitch to Pearson's misses low. And so not what Marcolini wanted to do, staked to a big lead. He walks the leadoff batter. This is the 3rd appearance on the pitcher's mound for Nick Marcolini, all of those coming out of the bullpen. He has a record of 1-0. And in 4 1/3 innings pitched so far on the season, Marcolini has allowed no runs on 3 hits. He has 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. And not particularly sharp since coming into the game. Did not have a lot of time to warm up. Obviously, he was out there defensively in the top half of the inning. So his only warm-up tosses came on the mound before this inning began. Trying to get loose on this chilly afternoon. And despite the calendar shifting to May here today, May 1st, feeling more like April 1st. Marcolini now with a 3-ball, no-strike count to Nick Marks. Finally fires in a strike. Oliver Ames desperate for base runners here, down by 6 runs. Looks like the training staff is continuing to monitor the 2 injured outfielders for Oliver Ames over by the first base dugout. Marcolini, meanwhile, battling back with another strike to fill the count. He's gone full to the first 2 batters he's faced. Runner holds as the pitch is on the inside corner for strike 3. So Marcolini able to battle back to make some tough pitches to get the first out of this 7th inning. And now a line shot off the bat of Reed Latham. That sneaks over Matt Shaver's glove. Looked like Shaver had an opportunity to make a catch on that, but just snuck up over his extended reach. So there is the 6th Oliver Ames hit of the game. It puts 2 on with 1 out. Now for Jake Ulrich. Ehrlich, his last time up, led off the top of the 6th inning with a double. It was a very different ball game at that point. Ehrlich was pumped up as he slid into the second base bag. Oliver Ames ended up loading the bases with 1 out in the inning, but Mario Lee able to hold the Tigers off the scoreboard, and Ehrlich now drives one through the left side of the infield for a base hit. Around from second base comes Chris Pearsons to score. And so Ehrlich continues to have a good day at the plate, now 2 for 4. Grabs a run batted in to make it a 7-2 score. And so the Tigers showing good fight despite really imploding in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Continuing to battle against Nick Marcolini, who has not looked particularly comfortable, was able to get the strikeout of Marks, but a walk and now back-to-back base hits, paying no attention to the runners as Reed Latham takes off for third base and gets there with no throw. And all of a sudden now, Coach Dion needing to get another arm loosened. A 1-ball, 1-strike count to Jacob Levine. He swings and misses. This last inning and a half has taken about as long as the first 5 innings took to play. It has been a decidedly slower pace to the late stages of this game. Tyler Almeida trotting out to exchange a few words with his pitcher. It is still a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Levine, batting 1 for 3 on the day. 1-2 pitch, that misses inside. 2-2. Runners leading away from first and second base. Now the 2-2 pitch popped up. Should be playable in foul ground behind first base. Ouimet is there. He makes the catch. And Oliver Ames now down to their final out. And the last hope for the Tigers rests in the bat of the pinch hitter, Kyle O'Connor. O'Connor swings at the first pitch, hits it hard to shortstop, and snagging it on a bounce is Shaver, and then sends the underhand toss to second base to get the force out that ends the inning. It looked initially like Shaver may have snagged it in the air, but sent the throw to second base just for good measure. And so Oliver Ames with a bit of a pushback here in the 7th inning, but this game well within Milford's control, and they walk away with a 7-2 victory. So Milford now on a 2-game winning streak. They jump back over 500 now at 6-5 overall on the season. And Oliver Ames, with a tough loss here today, they fall to 4-6 overall on the season. So a very good victory for the Scarlet Hawks here today. They will look to keep it going. Their next time out, they will next play on the road to face the Canton Bulldogs coming up on May the 3rd. We'll cover more of this team a little bit later on in the season. In the meantime, a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game this afternoon, our director, Patrick Garapi, and our camera operators, Scott Crisafulli and Igor Freeman. And I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford defeats Oliver Ames by a score of 7-2. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.